I'm Kim Essex in tonight for Liz. We are just an hour out from hearing the results of today's primary elections. This also means that you still have some time to head to the polls if you haven't already. Every single statewide election position in the state is potentially up for grabs. Right now, we have crews stationed all around the state, waiting to give you the latest on more than 90 state and local elections. Now, the race many of you have your eyes on is the race for governor. WFF 48 McKinley Struther is in Huntsville covering Tommy Battle's campaign. But first, we're going to go to Lindsay Connell, who is in downtown Montgomery, tracking the latest from incumbent Governor Kay Ivey. Lindsay, the governor is hoping to avoid a runoff.
She is, Kim, you're absolutely right. And as you can see behind me, Alabama media has turned out for the governor's big watch party here tonight at the Renaissance Hotel. And the stage has been set for her to speak to her supporters a little later on. Ivey spoke to Raycom Media today and told us she feels she will win big in this primary. Going into Election Day, Ivey's communications director says the polls look strong for the governor, but added that it all comes down to turnout. Ivey said today that she was encouraged by the number of people she met who told her that they had already cast their vote for her. Ivey made several stops in Montgomery, Jefferson, and Shelby counties today as one last final push to the polls. We asked her why she wants to be governor, and here's what she responded.
Because it matters to the people of Alabama. When people have good paying jobs, they can better provide for themselves and care for their families. And when people are working, they can achieve their dreams. And this is a great state to be a part of. So I want our people to have every opportunity they can.
Now, Governor Ivey got some criticism for not taking part in a debate or forum on the campaign trail, but she stayed unfazed by that criticism. She traveled across the state yesterday and says she's confident that she has the support of Alabamians. Now, many are looking to see how Kay Ivey and Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle shape up against each other in the race for governor. For more on that, we turn to WAFF 48 reporter McKinley Struther. He's live at Tommy Battle's camp tonight in McKinley. How are things going there tonight?
Well, just as you said, Lindsay, down in Montgomery here in Huntsville, the stage is set. The final details are being put in place as we await the supporters to arrive within the next 30 minutes. And then about an hour after that, Tommy Battle will come in and he'll shake the hands of the supporters that he had to convince in great number that he was the one who would lead their party to victory if chosen during the general election. Since his announcement that he would run for governor last year, his message has remained the same, and that is we need a change in Montgomery. He says things haven't changed in far too long, and the same leaders that tainted our government remain in charge. He spent much of his time campaigning on those values all across the state, but particularly down in the South, where his major successes on those things that matter most to voters, like jobs and the economy, aren't as relevant to them.
I think the biggest concern is just confidence in government. When they start looking at Montgomery doesn't reflect what Alabama does. We have a great state, but the Montgomery, the state capital, does not reflect what we want to see happen in the rest of the state. And they want to restore confidence in government. They want a government that will take on the challenges that we have, not just stick their head in the sand and kick the can down the road, but somebody who will take on the challenges that we have. That's key.
And he and his supporters believe he is the one that can do just that. We'll find out if the rest of the state agrees later this evening. Live at the Tommy Battle campaign headquarters, McKinley Struther, WAFF 48 News.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, thank you both. The interesting thing about Tommy Battle is that his term for mayor doesn't actually end for another 2 years. So the question is, if he is elected governor, who would take his place? Well, we've done a little digging to find out that answer. According to statutes, Mayor Battle would have to resign before taking office in January of next year. The president of the Huntsville City Council will then step into the role as mayor, and the city would have another 120 days from the day Battle resigns to hold a special election to fill that position. We're also tracking the latest on other gubernatorial candidates. We're taking a deeper look at the issues that have meant the most to them. The one thing they all hope to tackle is education. Republican Scott Dawson's campaign site says he wants to give more choices and control to parents, private and religious schools. He also wants to make drug testing mandatory for any student who participates in extracurricular activities. Dawson also wants to create mentorship programs for struggling students. Looking at the Democratic ticket, excuse me, Sue Bell Cobb is hoping a lotto can help propel education. She's promoting the lifelong lottery. Basically, revenue from the lotto would benefit Alabama's kindergarten and K-4 programs. She's also pushing for lotto money to pay for state-of-the-art tech education in high schools and helping pay for 2- and 4-year college grants for Alabama students. Democrat Walt Maddox wants to take a similar approach. He believes it will provide $300 million without a tax increase. That money would go to scholarships and expanding pre-K. Maddox says he wants to give Alabama's richest and poorest schools an equal playing field. So he wants to create something called the Promise Program to create better educational opportunities no matter where you live in the state. The lieutenant governor's seat has been vacant since Governor Kay Ivey took her role on as governor. Right now, 3 Republican candidates are waiting to see who will get the majority of those votes. Public Service Commission President Twinkle Cavanaugh, State Senator Rusty Glover, and Congressman Will Ainsworth are all vying for that seat. We caught up with Ainsworth today. He didn't let the fact that it's primary election day stop him from doing some last-minute campaigning. Ainsworth greeted dozens of people at the Albertville Rec Center while his wife was campaigning on his behalf at the Guntersville Rec Center. After just 1 term in office, Ainsworth says it's a big deal to run a statewide campaign, and he believes there'll be a runoff, and he plans to be in it.
Turnout's been tremendous. We started at the polls this morning at 7 and voted, and then we've got people working all over the state at different polls, and we're hearing great results. And so we're really excited. I think we're peaking at the right time, and we're excited about where we're at.
And you can count on WAFF 48 News for full coverage of the primary. Remember, polls close at 7 p.m. and results will start coming in shortly after voting is over. And you can get first alert updates on the WFF 48 News app and on air throughout the evening.